everyone. Welcome back to these spooky sessions. I don't know how many of y'all were here when I did this last year. If this is your second year tuning in to my spooky sessions, welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome to what I call the spooky sessions. Each October, I spend the entire month breaking down each of these 7 deadly sins and what we can learn from each of these deadly sins, as I believe that evil is out there. Evil is out there, and evil is out there to steal, kill, and destroy. Am I right? So if we are not approaching evil as not necessarily in a fearful way, but also not trying to fully embrace it, because honestly, who wants to be evil? Do we not all, at the end of the day, just want to be good? Maybe we don't want to be saints, but I don't think we also want to be just, boiling with hatred and bitterness and wickedness either, because really, where does that get you? What I want to break down for you guys in this episode is, what can we learn from evil? Because evil is out there, and if it's not being, if we're not using it for our benefit, it is being used against us in some way or another. It takes a thief to catch a thief. So if you don't know what the thief is going to do, you're a very easy target. So what can we learn from these people who are wicked, who are conniving? What can we learn and take this into our own life and maybe put a spin on it so that we're not necessarily out there being witches, but we're not out there being blindsided either? So I came up with this idea last year because I was like, how about for Halloween we do an entire seasonal series on Halloween related topics like evil? Because what else is there to talk about for Halloween? Now I know a lot of you are probably like, this makes me uncomfortable. I have a moral compass and this ain't it. And I don't blame you. I get it. This is not really my aesthetic either, to be honest. Let's just say I'm putting on a Halloween costume this month. Virtually, it's a Halloween costume. It's not me. But it's fun. It's really fun. I love embracing the season and talking about something different and putting a spin on my coaching that I wouldn't have otherwise done. And honestly, I've never seen anyone else do. That being said, for this episode, I wanted to discuss a little bit more about where I'm going with this idea, because I know that it might be making some of you kind of like just get a little bit of pause, because this isn't really your vibe. You're here for my coaching, not for a religious breakdown, but that's what I'm going to give you. Sorry. Welcome to my channel. Did you guys know that Halloween is actually more Christian than Christmas? What? You're probably saying? Yeah. You know why? Because Christmas is actually more pagan than Christian. Halloween actually originated as a Christian holiday, as kids used to go door to door, which is now known as trick-or-treating. Back in the day, they used to do this, and it was called, I forget what it was called exactly, but they would go around passing out soul cakes and asking people to buy their soul cakes basically in exchange, or take their soul cakes in exchange for prayers. Because it was a Christian thing, is how it actually started, which now is trick-or-treating. It's weird how the tables turn. People like to say that, Jesus was born on Christmas Day, and can I just say that Jesus was not, in fact, born on Christmas Day? You know who was, in fact, born on Christmas Day? Me! So I would know. Welcome to today's first deadly sin, which is pride. How much more can I make this relevant to my grandiose sense of self-knowledge? So throughout this series, we're going to be trying to find the middle ground between rotten soil and holy ground, and to discover, these 7 deadly sins and kind of flip them on their head. Today's deadly sin is none other than pride. Personally, one of my favorites, especially coming from an entertainer, and today's focus is how to stop downgrading your achievements, your accomplishments, and especially how this applies to entertainers and especially entertainers who are looking to land dream gigs. I see pride actually being one of the biggest setbacks for entertainers that I work with. The problem with pride is we undervalue not only our achievements, but our worth, ourselves. We undervalue, we undercut, we underestimate our talent. We underestimate everything. We don't dial it up. Now I want to clarify, there's very, very much a difference between being a very prideful person and like, you know, those people that are very, very prideful and they're absolutely miserable to be around. Everything is all about them and their accomplishments from like 10 years ago. And it's like, okay, what are you doing that's relevant today? Like, okay, you won something 10 years ago. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that your achievements just kind of diminish over the years. I mean, you could have done something literally incredible 10 years ago and it's still worth talking about. But there's a difference between the people who did something once and they never did anything again because they were like a one-hit wonder back in the day. And that was just their one-hit wonder of their life and they quit. You know, I want to be around people who are actively chasing their dreams, who are actively doing things, who are actively cool and impressive to me. Not just somebody who's like, oh yeah, one time I did something really cool. Okay, I've done one thing that was really cool like a week. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I just want to put that out there that I'm not trying to say go out there and be prideful, be full of pride, be just gloating in the sin of pride, because the truth is pride is a deadly sin for a reason, because it gets you in trouble. It gets you places you don't want to be and takes you places you don't want to go. And I'm not saying that is something that we should be glorifying, but I'm also not gonna say don't be prideful, or at least take these traits of pride into your life, because nothing, in my opinion, is entirely bad. Nothing is entirely bad. I don't think there's anything that is entirely good, and there's nothing that's entirely bad, you know? Even, let's look at curse words for an example. Is the word itself really that bad, or is it just the emphasis that we give the word that is bad in the situation in which we use it? What did the word itself ever do to anything? Please don't come back at me with receipts and scientific facts on that. I really don't care. I'm using this as a pure example of what I'm trying to get at, you know? There's nothing in and of itself that is necessarily that bad. It's just the way in which it's used. Everything in moderation. Hear me out. Let's face it, pride gets a really bad rep, especially amongst entertainers. But the truth is, many of us, especially entertainers, sorry to keep coming back to that, this is kind of my niche, we struggle with the exact problem of pride. We downplay our achievements because we don't want to seem arrogant and self-centered and narcissistic. Can we not even, should I go there? Should I even go there? Narcissistic is everyone's favorite word to describe me, because of the fact that I am willing enough to put myself out there. I'm comfortable enough, secure enough, confident enough, keyword enough, to put myself out there on social media and into the world and onto the stage. And yet, people have the audacity to go, oh, you're narcissistic and self-centered and arrogant, and you have this grandiose sense of self. self. They just think it's all self. And I'm like, this is just my passion. Granted, I'm not going to say that I don't have traits, but do I genuinely wish the worst on people? I mean, come on. Look at what I do for a living. Literally, what I do for a living is try to help other people's dreams come true. I think anybody who knows me could tell you that I'm kind of a marshmallow. I'm kind of just this. I look mean. I do have really bad RFB. RBF. Sorry. I was like, there's no way I said that right. RBF. But once you get behind the RBF, I'm just very much this. Also, don't get me confused with what I put out on the internet, because I mean, first of all, don't believe anything you see on the internet, except for my content. Just not me. Believe the content, but not me. I digress. But when I'm on the internet, I am working. I hope you guys realize I am working. Like, the way that I am right now is very different than I am when I'm with my friends. Because when I'm with my friends, I'm having fun, I'm bubbly, I am giddy and really nerdy and honestly embarrassing. Right now, I'm working. So don't get that confused. Take this as this is my job. Where am I going with this? Okay. We don't want to seem, as entertainers, we don't want to come off as arrogant and self-centered and narcissistic. Back to that point. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. That word is thrown out so people don't even know what they're saying. People literally, if you ask someone who says someone-so is narcissistic, why are they narcissistic? They're going to be like, because, and then it's somehow going to revolve back to them because they're actually probably the narcissist. I'm going to get more into this. Don't worry. It's going to be great. I just think it's funny that people like to throw out that term having literally no clue what it even means. So just keep that in mind next time someone tries to peg you as a narcissist. A great comeback would be, why do you think that? Or, ask them, not to be, blonde, but what does that even mean? I'm kind of confused because that doesn't fit the description that I'm aware of. Okay. Here's the real kicker, y'all. Underplaying your success can sabotage your confidence. And in this industry, in the entertainment industry, confidence is the key to landing those dream gigs. So you're only hurting yourself. When we dim our own light, we're essentially telling others and ourselves that we are not enough. Oof. And let me just take a wild guess and say that if you are an entertainer, you also very, 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 very much so struggle with this belief that you are not enough, that you're not good enough, that you just don't amount to enough in just every category, honestly. Wild guess. Let me just assume, perhaps, that you fall into this category. And if you are trying to put yourself into this category, into this box of believing this because you're afraid of being prideful, because it's a 7 deadly sin, and it's a deadly sin, one of the 7 deadly sins. You're like, I need to steer clear, far away from that. Can I just say, I'm not going to say that, that obviously there are things that are bad, like drugs, speeding tickets. I don't know. There are things that are bad. And no matter how you look at it, it's not really good. But there are also things that are bad, but there are so many things that are worse in comparison. And let me just say that there are also bad things for certain people that are not bad for other people. And if you are somebody who struggles with having a really bad sense of self-worth and self-esteem, and then you put yourself into this box because you're so afraid of, as I say this out loud, yeah, you're afraid because you, first of all, don't even have the self-esteem in the first place to deal with the fact that you might be doing something possibly wrong, whether it's your morals or I don't know, whatever that reason might be. You're putting yourself into this box of like, okay, I'm just gonna put myself into this box of dialing myself down. Do you realize that that is so much more damaging to yourself and to your future and to your entire self? I can't even stress this enough, how damaging that is to you, because you're afraid of having a little pride or showing a little pride. Again, I'm not going to say go out there and just gloat in it and just, surround yourself with this isn't an emotion, this trait of pridefulness. But what if you are just a little prideful? What's going to happen? And I'm not trying to say like, oh, why don't you just start dabbling in sin? That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say, though, is think about all the times that you've hit a milestone or achieved something great and put in hours, months, weeks, years, possibly, of hard work only to finally achieve that moment, that trophy, that whatever it was you won, just to brush it off with some casual saying of, oh, it was nothing, or anyone could have done it, or you really think I deserve this? Like, did I actually do that well? I mean, it was. Do you realize in that moment that is not humility? That is not coming of godly virtue. That is self-sabotage. I want you to realize this. That is self-sabotage. In the entertainment world, especially, if you do not own your accomplishments, which, by the way, I just recently hit my 4 years at my dream job as an entertainer, and I'm really proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. Okay, I digress. Enough about me. Back to you guys. If you don't own your own accomplishments, nobody else will. Nobody else is going to give you credit for the work you have done, for the time and effort that you have put into your dream. Let me tell you, nobody else cares. Except for maybe a future employer, which is why you need to care first, to show them, ironically, that you are proud enough of yourself and that you are worthy of them hiring you, of them taking you on. And you're not going to show your worth to them if you are actually self-degrading yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? You're going to find yourself caught in this cycle of going through interview after interview after interview of people just not hiring you because of the fact that you are not showing your value. And guess what? That right there is exactly what evil wants. Exactly. The person who is behind evil, the devil himself, that's exactly what he wants. The devil thrives, let me tell you, thrives off of your doubt, your insecurity. and your fear, probably most of all, of standing tall. Your fear of standing tall. Your insecurity of standing tall. Your doubt of standing tall. The enemy thrives off of this. This is how he lives. Let me tell you this. Why does it bother other people if we ourselves are proud? Why does it bother other people? Oh, you know why? Because it benefits them. Hear me out. Because it benefits them. Because if it didn't benefit them, then it wouldn't affect them if we were proud, right? Why does it affect them if we're proud? Why do they feel a certain type of way when we're proud? Why do they feel that inferior? Why do they feel that competition? Why do they feel that need to drag us down? Because if we are proud, we're the ones who are going to succeed over them, and they know it. And they know it. Why should my pride, my personal pride, suffer for everyone else's pride, ironically? Why should my pride suffer for everyone else's ego? But what if my pride offends somebody else, is what people love to say. What if your pride offends somebody else? What if it offends me? Do you see how pride actually comes back into play to fight this exact equation? Let's look at an example like a Great Dane and a Chihuahua, right? You see them fighting with each other. Like, okay, it's pathetic, honestly, to watch because the Great Dane is obviously bigger than the Chihuahua. And yet we watch them fight like, oh, look at the Chihuahua really thinks it has a chance. That's so cute. It's cute. That's what it is, right? That's how we need to be looking at it when other people who are trying to fight with us, when we're on the stance of being proud, when they try to tear us down, it's like, that's cute. Come on. Let me tell you this example. I'm actually very prideful of this example. I think it's great. What if when the Chihuahua and the Great Dane are fighting and the Great Dane wins, what if that offends the Chihuahua's ego? Whoa. Well, what happens there? Yikes. That's not good. The Great Dane really needs to degrade itself down to the Chihuahua's level because we can't let the Chihuahua's ego be bruised. That would not be good because why? It's smaller. There is no logical comparison of a Great Dane versus a Chihuahua. They're just built differently. Obviously, the Great Dane is bigger. Do you get what I'm trying to say? What if the pigeon's ego is bruised that it's not an eagle and that it will never be an eagle and that it can't compete with an eagle? Does the eagle, the bird of all birds, need to dial itself down because it's gonna offend the pigeon? This is how people talk. And do you see why? When a person is coming at you as, like, from the point of view, literally, as a pigeon tweeting at you, and you're an eagle, there is just no comparison. Like, it's a fact that you are an eagle and they're a pigeon. And they're coming at you saying, you need to dial yourself down. You are not all that. But you are, in fact, all that. Do you understand why looking at it in this perspective, why they would be coming at you trying to say that, because look at what they are, where they are, what they're doing with their life, as opposed to you and where you stand. And do you see why they would be coming at you like that, trying to be like, no. But they're saying that you're prideful and you're self-absorbed and you're narcissistic. Pride, when used right, can be very, very empowering. It's about acknowledging your hard work, your talents, your dedication. And it's not always about being boastful. Honestly, I think it comes more down to being authentic and owning your journey. Because if you think about it, any accomplishment that you have achieved in your life and that you dream of achieving and that you will ever achieve it in your life, it's probably boiled down to the most authentic thing that you could ever do. It probably boils down to the most authentic part of you. If you won an award at your work for, let's say, Employee of the Month, why do you think you won that Employee of the Month award? Probably because you were being yourself. Probably because you were being happy and joyful and just yourself. You know, the things that you want to do so badly in your life, start that business. Whatever you might be thinking of in this moment, the field that you want to go into as far as entertainment, it's probably the most authentic part of you. It's the thing that you want the most because it's the thing that's the most authentic. The thing you want the most is probably the most authentic, right? Why is that something to be shameful about? The opposite of pride, do you realize, is shame. And this is what hurts, I think, the most about pride, is the fact that pride is, portrayed as this deadly sin, but yet the opposite, shame, is really what gets us worse off, especially entertainers. I'm not going to say this is, the case for everyone, but I'm here for you guys, and I'm here to tell you, shame is not the answer. I'm not going to say that pride is necessarily the answer, but this is something to definitely think about and to take into your life and bits and pieces. How can you apply this? So here are a few easy ways that we can stop downplaying our achievements. Number one is acknowledge your wins. Start keeping a log of your success, no matter how small, whether you receive a really good compliment or you land a gig or complete a project. Write it all down. These receipts are of your progress, and receipts add up. And the more that you can reflect on these receipts, you're going to start to realize, you know what? I'm actually pretty cool. I'm actually doing really well. Number two is practice sharing without shame. This is so hard, right? Because every time somebody compliments us with even little things like, oh, I like your outfit. And, you planned out this outfit for like 4 days prior. You're like, this? Are you kidding me? I got this at Goodwill. It was on the clearance section at Goodwill, actually. And I didn't really like it. I was just looking for something and it was just there. So I don't know. I just got it. You like it? Really? Why do we do this? Why can we not just own the compliment and be like, thank you? You know why? Is because we're scared that if we come at them with pride, even though they just complimented us and we have every right to own that compliment, they're actually gonna flip it back onto us, aren't they? They're going to say something after that to degrade what they just complimented, because if we don't degrade it ourselves, they have to. Because they compliment us, expecting us to in turn degrade ourselves, but when we don't respond with that, then they feel the need to. Do you see how that works? It's twisted, and it's truly evil. So when someone compliments you, accept it, say thank you, and feel proud, and watch how, as in turn, they might just start degrading themselves instead. Because if you position yourself as the eagle, as the Great Dane, they might realize, oh, if they're the Great Dane or they're the eagle, that must make me the beta. Because if they're the alpha, then I'm the beta, and then they're going to start feeling really bad about themselves, and they might start degrading themselves subconsciously. Just try it. See what happens. You take that confidence, that pride, and you run with it. And make sure to start sharing your accomplishments with the right people, with the right peers, the right social media, the right auditions, the right employers. Number 3 that I want to encourage you is to shift your mindset. Pride isn't a sin when it's rooted in truth. Because truth is what sets us free, right? So you have earned your wins. Let that sink in. You have worked hard. You have probably played an honest card your entire journey to get where you're at, because liars don't make it very far. No evil really makes it very far, except for strategy. And pride is strategy. It all boils down to war, does it not? Life is war, and the art of war is how you win. I want you guys to give this a shot. This week, start embracing pride, not as a sin, but as a tool to fuel your dreams. Stop downplaying what you bring to the table, because let's be real. Pride is needed in the entertainment industry. Are you ready to start embracing pride and stop playing small? I want to encourage you guys to start going out there and start making waves, because the more you make waves, the more you're going to start landing those dream gigs. That's what I do here. I coach entertainers to land dream gigs. I help you guys land dream gigs, I should say. So if that is something you're interested in, feel free to reach out with me. Also, I want to encourage you guys to check out my social media on almost any social media platform. You can find me at Make Waves Coach, and also at Mermaid Kassandra, as I'm a professional entertainer myself. Tune in next week as we will tackle the next deadly sin and find more ways to turn evil into something that actually serves us. Until then, go out there and start making waves. Mwah!